Hello, my name is nujumkey. One of the developers at VDO Studios actually asked me to play their game, Callie's Caves 3, and I was like, this seems really cool. It's like right up my alley of like games I would enjoy. It's very simple, straightforward, and it looks pretty fun. It's like $7 on Steam, and I would recommend to you check it out. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm not gonna say it's a perfect game by any stretch of the imagination. I have my fair share of complaints about it. So think if this is sort of like a half review kind of. I'm going to start by talking about the design, and then I'll go into gameplay. Then I'll really drill into my problems with the game, or I'll probably scatter problems throughout the Let's Play. So yeah, let's begin. Although maybe I should start off. Why is New Game Plus Survival and Bear's Quest and Melvin's Zone all at the start? This is... I don't even know what start is anymore. Is start just new game? It's weird. But no, start for some reason is the same thing as continue, and continue becomes... Actually, I may as well go back to the main menu. I've played, I think, 2 hours of this game, so I've gotten decently far. What am I doing? Oh my god. Alright, let's go ahead and start a new game. The way you start a new game, by the way, you go to options and you erase your data. Was testing this out a few times now. What just happened to my window? Okay, sorry about that. For some reason, it reset the window when I erased my data. Okay, well, we're gonna go ahead and start a new game. We have Skull Guy here, and we have two people in ropes on this crazy looking ship, and then we have this cute little girl. Boom, end media res right there. That's how you do some storytelling, is when you just start in the middle of whole story. Hi, Lloyd. Callie, hey, okay, so this character is Callie, and as you can see, she's actually holding a gun. She's talking to this guy, Lloyd, right? Hey, Lloyd, you aren't going to believe this. Your parents got kidnapped by Herbert again. How did you know? They flew 2 seconds ago. Do you have eyes, Callie? It's gonna get crazy. I'm ready. Well, let's get started. So, firstly, we have this cute little girl, Callie. As seems to be customary with indie games, they have to have a girl main character now, which I don't actually dislike. It does something. It's starting to kind of seem to be the cute little girl is the go-to standard character for a video game, and I don't necessarily disagree with it, but I don't know. I don't like trends in my brain, but I acknowledge that they exist, and it's fair enough, you know? So, Callie has this pistol. You can switch it later. I was clicking the switch button for some reason, thinking I would switch later, and she has a sword. Thematically, this is actually kind of funny in my opinion. You have a sword and a pistol, and obviously you can shoot the pistol. Let's go ahead and actually enter our level. They do this neat flyover thing. I like games that have a lot of flavor to them, and the flavor of this game is basically girl with a gun and sword. I may as well say it. My main problem with Callie is that she doesn't feel very interesting. She's not very imaginative. She's just girl with sword and gun. Like her, I guess. We'll continue to see if throughout the game they make her more interesting. They did a really good job with these bushes. The one I just cut. This one right here, right? So, I don't actually like how they blend in the background, but you can interact with the environment basically, which I really like. The environment, it feels like you should walk into this because I was able to interact with that bush, but you just don't, which is kind of weird. You can tell what parts is the foreground, which parts is the background normally, but every once in a while it trips you up. So that's kind of an issue, but not really. You can get a lot of stuff out of these bushes, by the way, so make sure you cut them a lot. So you might be wondering, well, why would I ever want to use the sword other than to cut bushes? And the answer is it stuns enemies, and it does do a little more damage than my pistol as of right now. If I level up my pistol, then definitely that will not be the case, but for now, it does a little bit more damage, and it stuns enemies, which is actually super important because you can get into this really nice cycle where you just never get hit. The AI is kind of basic, but I still get hit by it all the time, so I'm not gonna say it's bad by any stretch. It's definitely beating me up. It's a lot of treasure. So, the objective of the game is to chase after the guy who kidnapped your parents, and you basically go right or down or up or whatever. I messed that up badly. And the basic gameplay is pretty fun. The basic gameplay loop is, well, precision platforming around enemies and taking them out from a distance with your weaponry. And it's pretty straightforward. You can pretty easily... I'm trying to like focus because I tend to play worse when I try to talk. Especially when I'm trying to break down game type stuff. You probably can tell when you watch my Skullgirls series. But it's interesting how the game finds its challenge. Because the enemies aren't extremely difficult, like in Dark Souls where the enemies are constantly playing on you, right? Where it reminds me a little bit of like Cave Story where you knew all the enemy patterns. And the goal of the game was basically you getting around it. I like this sign here, it's very cute. Environmental storytelling at its finest. But it does kind of mean that a lot of the enemies can be sort of gamed, right? Like I can just sit here and this wolf won't turn around and shoot me. And then I go over here, like ha ha ha, you can't hit me. Get a quick jump, can shoot him. And you'll see this with the bosses, especially so. I may as well talk more about it on the way. Look at all these coins we're getting. The coins, I find, aren't exceptionally useful. Okay, Lloyd's gonna talk about us a little bit. Talk about not us, but weapons a little bit. We have our second weapon, a shotgun. So the main thing about a shotgun is that it's strictly better than the pistol in every way. It doesn't do more damage yet because our pistol is level 3. You probably noticed that on the top right. You can see my weapon and you can actually see a number next to it. That's the level. But the shotgun is just so much better because it can hit angles that the pistol can't reach. So let's talk about the weapons a little bit. Alright, we already got the level up. Your weapons level up in a very Cave Story type of way, where every time you hit an enemy, I believe, yeah, you can see the bar go up every time I hit this pirate guy. Every time you hit an enemy, your weapon level goes up, and on levels 4, 7, and 10, I think, they like get upgrades, and I think it goes on higher, but I haven't really gotten to that part of the game. And so what this means is that it's in your best interest to stick with one weapon and really get it to really powerful levels, you know? And it also means there's like a very tangible type of progression in the game, because you're going to spend a lot of your time just walking through areas, so it's actually kind of important that the devs do give you something to like work towards. Otherwise, like, you're just going through room after room and you don't feel like you're making progress. I should use the pistol because I want to get this upgrade to show you, because it's actually really cool. I love the animation they do for this. Check this out. You now have the Skulking Eagle. Damage increase, bigger bullets, looks cooler. Oh god, I got hit by a pirate. Alright, may as well show this off. So yeah, as you can see, the particle effects are bigger, a little bit different. I quite like it. UI is fairly minimalist, which I actually really like. Let's switch to the shotgun. Normally, like once I get this shotgun leveled up, the spread gets bigger and it becomes way more better for shooting people at like a ledge above you or below you. And that's quite nice. Oh, I died. I'm not going to talk too much about the death yet, but it's not my favorite thing in the world. It works. For the game, it definitely does its job very well, so that's all good. Continuing on the weapons, there's actually a huge variety of weapons in the game. If I go to my menu, and yes, this is the menu, I know it's very strange what they do with their UI, but if I go to inventory, I can go to weapons and I can actually see all of the weapons that I'm going to unlock throughout the game, which is a very strange decision. I feel like this is unnecessary, but it is very cool. So you can see there's a lot of content in this game, which is actually very nice to know, as like for $7 you're going to be eventually playing through all of these weapons. And they all have their own like levels of upgrades. Like the weapon system is super intricate, which definitely would be like the main reason to buy this game. Like it's fun as well. I really enjoy just the explorative nature of games. One of the things that you'll notice is that I'm picking up a lot of chess. And this is going to be a note to the developers. Hey devs, if you're watching, I'm going to walk out of this door, right? I'm then going to walk back into the door, and your chest is back, and it's going to have the exact same loot as before, which does not seem like a feature that should be intentional, you know? But yeah, so I like games that are explorative by nature. Things like Pokemon and Zelda really appeal to that type of player. Callie's Caves, though, if I look at the map, it's going to be very linear, right? You only really have one entrance and one exit for every area, but each area... Okay, I have to talk about environmental design a little bit, but... but each area has like multiple ways you can go about it, right? So you have this... Oh, hold on. Gotta get this cool cutscene out of the way. Wider spread! Yes! So... Each area has multiple ways to traverse it, which I actually really like. Just bam you. The wolves start to die really easy. So you can see I went down this hole, or I can go up here, and up here strictly seems to be a little bit faster. But down there you have 2 treasure chests, which is actually like a big deal. You know, there's probably multiple ways to traverse a level. And I like this because usually if players ever find themselves really stuck on a level or an area, they have the option to just back up and find another route. Which is really great if you're a player and you're able to like go through and you're like, oh, I'm gonna get all the treasures, or oh, I just want to finish the game as quickly as possible, oh, I really want to see the next boss or the next cutscene. That is really great, and they put treasures appropriately, because they did do... Okay, so I'm kind of scattered right now, I'm sorry, I like just woke up. The thing you have to understand about chests, right, is that they're there to basically reward you where an exit would have been rewarded. Because Cali Caves is linear, they run the risk of being not very explorative, right? Oh yeah, we got the shotgun from here. Which is very risky for this style of game, in my opinion. If you don't go something of a Metrovania style, it can be hard to really give the player options to explore, and so they found a way to do it. But the reward for that is pretty much always going to be a chest, which, you know, it's good. It has its ups and downs, I think. I quite like the system in the game, but I quite like the game. Oh, I should have talked more about the wooden platforms. I will in a sec. The thing you have to remember in that Metrovania-styled games, you didn't just have 1 or 2 ways to traverse a section of a level. You had 2 or 3 ways to traverse the entire world to get to a different boss, right? Like, if I'm playing Dark Souls, I can go through Blight Town, or I can skip Blight Town and go through Dragon Valley, right? Using that Master Key. And you have to go through the New Launder Ruins and stuff. That, as a player, is super cool to realize the interconnectivity of the world, and it also gives them a reason to explore. Callie's Caves, they give you a reason to explore primarily in chests, right? Like, oh, here's the exit, hold on, I want to explore more because I'm having a lot of fun with this game. Oh wow, there's a chest, that's really cool. In any other game, this chest would actually be a door, and this door would lead to a different area, etc, etc. It would loop around in really cool ways, and you get a real sense of world. And Callie Caves, they made their levels linear, somewhat linear, it's like semi-linear, but they still reward the player, which I really like. I also am really bothered by these wooden platforms. You're supposed to Well, you're not supposed to, but my brain is telling me, hey, hit down in space. If you hit down in space, you'll drop down from these wooden platforms, right? That's not how these work, unfortunately. In any other, like, platformer-style games, you stand on something like this, you press down in space, you go down, but in this game, you just jump. I understand why they did it. It's because they wanted, like, a one-way wall, right? So that, I think there was actually an example back here somewhere, where if you came from, like, a lower path, well, it's not here, but at some point there's like a treasure underneath one of these walls, and so you have to approach it from underneath. You can't just stand on top and go down. It's just a way to make a one-way wall. It's sort of a mini gating mechanic, which is actually pretty important for a designer to have, but it messes with my brain up. It messes my brain up a lot. Yeah, that's most of what I want to talk about for Cali Caves. If you want to check it out, it's really fun. Like, I am kind of complaining a lot, but I also think they made a lot of really cool design decisions in their character. I could probably go on for like another 2 or 3 episodes, but I won't, because it's going to be filled with a lot more ums and ers, and I'm going to have a lot harder time saying what I want to say. There was stuff that I missed, certainly. I mentioned earlier about exploration. They actually have like this records thing that you can collect, which is really nice. It's actually super important that they give you some other reason to explore than chests, because money is really weird. The shopping system's actually really weird. Maybe how about this? I'll cut to the shopping system, and that's where we'll start Cali Caves Part 2 next week, or not, depending on if I can get Skullgirls reported. So yeah, come back here next week and I'm going to talk about the shopping system and maybe some of the enemy design, because that's really interesting in my opinion. Thank you all for watching. My name is nujumkey. $7 Steam, Cali's Caves. It's in the title. Come on guys, you can look at the title. I was going to spell it out, but I didn't because I'm bad. Goodbye.